Mr. Johnson.
Good morning, Full Transportation and Infrastructure Committee Chairman Graves, Ranking Member Larson, Highway and Transit Subcommittee Chairman Rouzer, Ranking Member Norton, and members of the committee. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today about the Highway Trust Fund and the vital role it plays in securing the future of our national surface transportation system. My name is Ty Johnson. I'm proud to serve as president of Fred Smith Company, a Raleigh-based heavy highway construction company employing over 1,200 dedicated men and women throughout North Carolina. Our company builds roads and bridges, manufactures asphalt, and has proudly contributed to the infrastructure that keeps our communities connected for nearly 100 years. I'm a lifelong North Carolinian, born in Durham and educated at NC State University, where I earned a degree in civil engineering. I've spent my entire 30-year career in the heavy highway industry, serving in many positions at our company. Today, I'm honored to speak not only for Fred Smith Company, but also on behalf of the 1,100 member companies of the National Asphalt Pavement Association, the only national trade association exclusively representing the asphalt pavement industry for the past 70 years. Our members are in every state and operate in every congressional district. The asphalt pavements we provide cover over 94% of the entire national roadway market, and our industry is ubiquitous with any policies focused on highway funding, expansion, and maintenance. However, we cannot talk about America's infrastructure future without first talking about the solvency of the Highway Trust Fund. My hope is to provide this committee on the HTF's real-world impacts on contractors and material providers, like Fred Smith Company and others in the asphalt industry, who work with state DOTs and HTF-backed projects every day throughout the country. I believe 4 clear user fee pathways must be considered for HTF solvency, and while NAPA is agnostic on any one option we must pursue, these 4 would certainly make major financial strides. One option is to immediately index and raise the gas tax, which hasn't occurred since 1993. Another is to capture all users of the national roadway system within the HTF, explicitly EV and any hybrid drivetrains that pay little to no funds into the HTF currently. Additionally, you could implement a national vehicle miles traveled program that would provide an equitable capture of the roads we use and frequency, which can be deployed without privacy concerns and could implement various collection mechanisms. Lastly, a national fee on gross vehicle weight restrictions would capture any vehicle on our roadways and tier a vehicle's fee based off its weight and thus its literal impact on our national roadway network. Each of these options has merit, and together, implemented in some capacity or in tandem, offer a pathway to sustainable long-term funding. In North Carolina, we understand the stakes. Our state maintains more roads than nearly any other, over 80,000 miles of highway and 13,500 bridges. In 2023 alone, North Carolina received $1.6 billion in federal funds from the HTF to support critical projects like the widening of I-95 and improvements to I-85 and I-77 in Charlotte. Every $1 billion in infrastructure investment supports approximately 13,000 American jobs. At Fred Smith Company and across the entire asphalt industry, we provide good-paying careers that support families and communities. But without reliable HTF funding, that workforce we proudly employ and the projects they deliver are at risk. But we're doing what we can to help. The asphalt industry is stretching every federal dollar, given asphalt is America's most recycled material. Every year, over 90 million tons of reclaimed asphalt pavement are reused, saving state DOTs more than $3 billion annually. With the right policies and incentives, we can further expand this cost-saving practice and deliver greater value for every taxpayer dollar without sacrificing pavement performance. But it's not just how we support the HTF with new user fees, it's what HTF resources mean for the safety of our employees. As you know, last week was National Work Zone Awareness Week, a sobering reminder that more than 100 road workers lose their lives annually in work zones. HTF programs like the Work Zone Safety Contingency Fund support technologies and strategies that keep our workers and the traveling public safe. Members of the committee, the Highway Trust Fund is not just a financial mechanism, it is the backbone of our nation's surface transportation network. The current user fee system is unsustainable, but the solutions are within reach and the choices are real. On behalf of Fred Smith Company and the members of NAPA, we are eager to partner with you in shaping a bold, bipartisan reauthorization package that financially secures the HTF and positions our country for decades of economic growth and mobility. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I look forward to your questions and to supporting your work in ensuring the financial future of our National Surface Transportation Network.
Well, thank each of you very much. We'll now turn to questions from the panel. I'll recognize myself for 5 minutes for questions. I'll start with Mr. Johnson. It was great to be with you back home in North Carolina when we went and toured the project you're working on there on I-95. And by the way, I think we've been working on I-95 since I was born. But in any event, talk to us a little bit about the importance of trust fund solvency in terms of timelines and sustainability. Just the importance of keeping projects on task.
Thank you, Congressman Rouzer, for that question. Also for your time and coming to visit with us and tour our plant and see our pavement operations on 95. It was a privilege to be able to do that. So my two biggest concerns as president of Fred Smith Company are the safety of our employees and to make sure that we have enough work for all of our employees. The Highway Trust Fund in North Carolina provides about 25% of the funds needed to fund the DOT road program. So that 25% is very critical to our company and to our employees. The highway industry in North Carolina is sized, the number of employees we have and the equipment and resources we have is sized to maintain a certain dollar amount spent for the highway program. And if the funds were to be reduced and the amount of money coming in and available were to be reduced, that would severely impact our industry. That would mean that we could potentially have layoffs and reduction in workforce, which would be devastating to our company and our communities. Also, knowing that money is there and it's consistent and it's sufficient and we know it's coming, allows us to invest in our company and invest in our communities, whether that be buying, installing, putting up new asphalt plants, or buying more equipment, or expanding our offices, hiring more employees, be willing to train our employees. Knowing that the money is available and it's coming and it's dedicated is critical for us to make those decisions. The work we do is extremely expensive. The equipment and the materials that we buy cost a lot of money, and with any uncertainty if that work will be there to put that equipment and those people to work, it makes us question whether we want to grow and expand in our communities. So in addition to those, the long-term effects, if we do have a slowdown and the workforce shrinks, then when the work does come around, if there is more work that comes later, then it's going to cost more, it's going to take longer. Because the workforce is going to be smaller, just supply and demand. If there's more work and we have fewer people, then it's going to cost more, and the project's going to be delayed. And that's just talking about our company. When you're looking at what it means to our communities and the traveling public, without having that funding to be able to keep up with the demands in our state, whether it be people who live in our state or people who just transit through our state, it just really impacts the mobility, the ride quality. We can't maintain roads. So just having the Highway Trust Fund solvent, knowing that it is there and that our DOT can plan out the work and know that the funds will be available when the time comes to build it, that we can count on those jobs being there and the opportunities are there. This means so much for our planning of our resources and our labor force that when there's doubt with our state or with our employee or our company, it just makes it challenging to grow and to invest. So just the renewal of the Highway Trust Fund is just critical to our employees and our communities.
Thank you very much. You covered it well.
Mr. Johnson, in your testimony, you focused on federal investments for project delivery, workforce development, and economic activity as it relates to North Carolina. You brought up the importance of maintaining a user-based trust fund to ensure that critical road and bridge funding is not reprioritized. In your opinion, what would be the biggest mistake we could make regarding the Highway Trust Fund in this upcoming highway bill? What would cause the most harm on future highway construction funding?
Thank you for your question, Congressman. The biggest mistake we could do is to do nothing. It is a broken system. We know it's been a broken system, and there are numerous different alternatives out there that could help fix the system. So asking Congress to, make a choice and hopefully fix the system for the long term.
Mr. Johnson, I know we're discussing how to best fund future highway bills via user fees, but it also comes down to how best to maximize these precious resources. Can you help give me some insight on how your industry is helping stretch taxpayer dollars for road construction using materials like reclaimed asphalt, RAP?
Thank you for the opportunity to speak about RAP. The asphalt industry, reclaimed asphalt is one of the most recycled products in the world, in the country. We, through the process of maintenance, we remove a lot of asphalt or we remove a lot of roads, and 100% of that product is able to go back into our asphalt mixes. As much as 40% of our new asphalt going on the road is made with recycled asphalt. It's reclaimed from other jobs. It's not going to landfills. It saves us money. It saves the taxpayers money. It saves us energy. It is one of our highlights of our industry.
Thank you. I'm out of time. I have one more question for you, so I'm going to submit it, and hopefully we'll get an answer from you.
Mr. McDowell, you're up if you're ready.
Thank you, Chairman. The funding mechanism of the Highway Trust Fund was designed to set up a self-replenishing source of funding for infrastructure projects, but for nearly 2 decades, the fund has been sustained through transfers from the general fund of the Treasury. The Congressional Budget Office's most recent projections show that once the current surface transportation bill expires, the Highway Trust Fund will have a $142 billion shortfall over the next 5 years. The funding structure established in the 1950s simply does not work in the 21st century. We have all seen the increasing number of hybrid and fully electric vehicles on the road, especially over the past few years. I'm all for consumer choice, but EV owners have been reaping the benefits of the highway system without contributing their fair share for long enough. Despite making up a growing proportion of cars on the road, EVs avoid paying the user fees that other vehicle owners pay in the form of fuel taxes, all while causing way more wear and tear on road surfaces. According to the Department of Transportation's own data, EV batteries are heavier, sometimes up to 50% heavier than the traditional internal combustion engines that they are replacing. The cost and frequency of road repairs is increasing, and we must consider ways that all road users can be a part of the solution. Simply put, EVs cannot continue to get a free ride. As the witnesses today have already attested to, the stability of the Highway Trust Fund impacts each state's ability to prioritize roadway improvements, which are vital to keeping drivers safe on the roads we all use. North Carolina is a prime example of a state that stands to lose a lot if Congress does not act to fix this funding shortfall. Our state's population is growing, resulting in more drivers on the roads. This growth, coupled with the increased costs of construction due to inflation brought on by the previous administration, will continue to raise both the cost and frequency of highway repairs. When viewed through this lens, adding hurricane damage into the mix is like throwing lighter fluid on a fire. As a proud congressman from the state of North Carolina, I'm going to ensure that my state has the resources it needs to tackle these safety challenges head on. I want to thank the witnesses for being here to testify today before this subcommittee, and I look forward to the discussion today. Mr. Johnson, I appreciate you being here, and for those that may not know, the company, Fred Smith Company, has been operating and growing in North Carolina for nearly 100 years. Has over 1,200 employees across my home state. There's even a couple of Smiths that live in my district. But today, you're representing the asphalt pavement industry, which has operations in every state across the country. And in fact, the Bureau of Transportation Statistics at DOT estimates that 1/10 of our nation's workforce is directly employed by transportation-related industries. So the value of your perspective and the work that this committee accomplishes has a significant impact on your business plans. With that in mind, does the Highway Trust Fund solvency help with your company's projections regarding what projects you bid on or for a slate of work? during a given paving season?
Yes, thank you, Congressman. Yeah, so our state DOT does a really good job projecting out projects that they have in their plans, and we count on those for our planning and our future investments. And when we see those jobs sliding because of funding, lack of funding, then we are hesitant to pull the trigger on making additional investments in our company, in our asphalt plants, and in hiring more employees and training our employees for future positions due to growth. So without that consistent funding, it definitely makes us question and not pull the trigger on certain investments.
Gotcha. As you mentioned in your testimony, North Carolina ranks second in the nation for the number of state-maintained roads, with more than 80,000 miles of highway and over 13,500 bridges. Could you briefly describe the importance that HTF funding has across our state alone, and how do variables such as hurricane damage or projected population growth magnify the scope of that impact?
So the HTF funds about 25% of our total roadway program in the state, which is very significant. We perform a lot of projects for Fred Smith Company and others across the state that would not happen without the HTF. And as you mentioned, the hurricane, we met with the state DOT last week, and they're anticipating a $5 billion cost to repair Hurricane Helene. And we are looking at some serious deficits in the state funding due to that. So the FHWA has been working very well with the state DOT to reimburse those funds. So we appreciate that, but it's a big mountain to climb.
Sure thing. Thank you, sir. And Mr. Chairman, I yield back.